Welcome, everyone. We're going to give others a few minutes just to, get settled and to join in. And we'll be starting our member cafe for November shortly. All right, just a couple more minutes. I think I'm getting excited about our topic. All right. We had some our participants are logging in, so I'm going to go ahead and start our topic for today. My name is Seisha, Seisha Bonner, that is, like James Bond, I think I was trying to go for. Welcome again to our Partners Member Cafe for the month of November. We have a great topic. In the month of, November, again, we're take a step back and take a deep breath and we think about giving and what we're thankful for. So, we are going to be discussing the benefits and the impact of volunteering, both the impact on your mental and your physical health. So, again, I don't know if I told you, I am with member engagement here at Partners. I'm a member engagement specialist. And I want to remind you that this is a safe space to voice your concerns, add, ask questions, gain some knowledge, request resources on our services or anything in the community. Also joining us today from the Member Engagement Department, we have Terry Christie. She's our behind the scenes super executive level producer. We have Lindsay Green. She will be doing our chat ins for us and she's part of member engagement as well. So any type of information, any knowledge, any links, resources, Lindsay will be popping those in the chat as she has already did even before I said the welcome. Thank you, Lindsay. You're on it. And then we also have Beth Brooks. Beth will be moderating our questions at the end of, if you have any questions, at the end of our session today. Again, our topic today is about volunteering and how one can benefit from both physical and mental health. Today we have our two panelists that will what we have our panelists right now that will be joining us, and we have another one that will be joining us shortly. We have Lynn Gray. Let's put it up for there we go. Thank you, Lynn. She's our senior director here over clinical systems. Kind of she's over the operations of the care management department here at Partners. We are excited to have her, and she's going to give some great feedback. We also have Dr. Tiffany Hall, who will be joining us. She is a mental health professional. She's been in the industry in our field for the last 23 years. She serves as an advocate as well on all different levels. But before we dive into those great questions and get some of that great information, I'm going to go over some housekeeping rules. Again, we're offering today's session in closed caption. You'll see the controls for this feature at the bottom of your screen. And you can simply hover over live transcript to make sure that you can to make changes to meet your needs, to make sure that you're able to see and read and hear whatever you need to in order to participate and gain the knowledge from our member cafe. Unfortunately, we are unable to accommodate AI note takers. I know, guys, I know we thrive off of those now within due to our Zoom parameters and cybersecurity reasons. We will have to remove them as attendees. So if you do have them on, or if that's how you thrive, I apologize for the inconvenience that this may cause. But again, this meeting is being recorded. So if you have any additional questions, or if you want to refer back to something, you can go onto our website and we'll share information later on how you can review the recorded meetings. Again, as I said, that these meetings are being recorded. So let's make sure we do not share any personal information during our sessions. And if you have any questions or you want any specific answers, just you can feel free to reach out to a staff member here at Partners, or we'll provide you with some names and some numbers and some contact information in which you can get those those questions answered, even through a member engagement person after our presentation. As I said before, the recording of this session will be available on our website. It will be at www.partnersbhm.org. You type in Member Cafe in the search bar, which is in the upper right-hand corner for easy location. We will also be sending you out an email with some materials if need be, if you registered, and it will come in as like a constant contact. So if we have any information to send you, we will also be sending the slides as well, but you will get that information at a later time after our session is closed. Let's take a look at the Zoom features located at the bottom of your screen. The chat is open for engagement during our session. Q&A is open for you to enter questions as information is being presented. And we will moderate those questions, as I said, at the end. Well, not we, Beth Brooks will moderate those questions at the end. We do have the reactions, and I will say that I have been in multiple meetings today alone, and those reactions, people love them. We are emoji community, I should say, and we love hearts, we love claps, we love thumbs up. So please, please feel free. I see one already. Thank you. So please feel free to drop a heart or, raise a hand, not raise a hand, a smiley face, whatever you would like to do. Just go ahead so we know that you're there. And it is very important to us, as this information is important to us to give to you. Now, also at the end, we will have we will request that you complete a survey. I know. Surveys are sometimes annoying, but I want you to be able to give us your raw feedback, what you think we did good, what we can improve on a little better, or any type of feedback. Maybe what you would like to hear in the future. Maybe you want to hear me sing. Please no one do that. But if that's what you would like, let us know. And I said before, our guest speakers, Lynn, we have Lynn here, and we're going to start with some questions. All right, Lynn, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm happy to be your panel until Dr. Hall gets here.
Yes, we're going to have some great back and forth conversations, and I love that. Can you define for me what volunteering acts of kindness look like in the community? Because it sounds like a long, drawn out, topic, but can you describe in your own words what that actually looks like?
Yes, I think this is actually a really good question because it can sound intimidating, right?
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who is shy and you don't, you're not already integrated into your community, it can feel like you're walking into something large and overwhelming, right? But I look at volunteering and acts of kindness as basic service to others, right? So it can be helping a neighbor move all the way up to helping with the habitat build, right? It's just something that you're doing to benefit somebody else. Like you're not receiving payment for it. It's just something that you are doing because you feel called to help somebody else. So that's the way that I look at it.
I like how you said it could be something as simple as helping a neighbor move. Because
Yes.
sometimes we get caught up in the context and we're like, we have to be on some type of assembly line, packing something up, or actually providing a specific service. But just being a neighbor is what it sounds like. Being a part of the community
Yeah.
can literally describe what the act of kindness is in the
Sure.
community.
Like making a meal for someone who's just had a baby, right? That counts. You know?
Absolutely. I remember, I'm sure we all can remember when you didn't want, I don't have babies, but I still don't want to cook. So I would love sometimes if
Yeah.
someone, would just, that's something that's simple, that can go a long, long way. So I like that example as well. Um, what is your
Stacia,
why?
Stacia, Dr.
Yes,
Tiffany
ma'am.
Hall has joined us. Dr. Hall, if you want to come off camera or come on camera, you can change your name. So, and we were just going through the first question.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I can't come off camera for some reason, but it's fine. And just from what I was hearing, the question was, how do you define acts of kindness? Is that correct?
Yes, within the community.
Um, okay. So acts of kindness are any act or gesture that can have a positive impact on others. Any act that you do with, out any type of ulterior motive, um, just to help with the community's well-being and happiness. So as Lynn Gray stated, it could be something small. It could be something as helping someone move. Um, it doesn't always have to be a big planned, organized thing. It could be as simple as holding the door for someone, pushing a card, helping them stack the boxes, anything like that that can bring a sense of happiness and well-being to someone else or the community as a whole.
I like that. And I like with both Dr. Tiffany and Lynn, I love that you spoke about just something that anyone can do in the community. That opening the door, that meal, it's effortless. And that could be very impactful for someone's day. Um, what is my next question? Be what is your why for volunteering in your community? And when I mean your why, the reason that one would do it. I know sometimes we have to do it for, specific reasons to maybe, for school or for work or, but what would be your why of why you would volunteer in your community?
So I am born and raised in Winston-Salem and moved back here. So this community, the Forsyth County, Guilford County, the surrounding areas mean a lot to me. And so my why for volunteering is that I know people will suffer in silence physically, financially, mentally, and volunteering, giving back, aiding others. I want to help prevent um, folks from struggling in whatever capacity I can, and with whatever they're struggling with. So that is my why for volunteering. I didn't gain all this knowledge to hoard it. I want to share it, and through volunteering, I can do that.
My why is similar. It's threefold. The first thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is it's good for my soul and for my mental health. It is a huge part of my coping skills when I'm feeling stressed and burnout to engage in service to others to remind me why we're here as humans. A lot of the stress and burnout we have is stuff that's just not even all that real, right? So when you get to interact with others and hear their stories and feel like you can connect with them, it really kind of grounds you. It's good for my community. So similar to Dr. Hall, stating that, our community, what affects our daily life the most is our community, right? So it's not necessarily the federal government, it's not necessarily the state government, it's our local community. And it gives so much to me and my family that I want to make sure that I'm giving back to my community as well. I also want to be a good example for my daughter. I want her to see that service to others I want her to integrate that into her life, because it is good for her, but also because it is good for the community as well. So um, that is my why.
I love both of those answers. And Lynn, I'm probably going to pick your brain afterwards because I've been trying to figure out how to introduce and include my daughter into um, volunteering with her community and just in the interaction and engagement. And I think that right there, just that thought and putting it into action is a part of volunteering and it is feeding into your community. So yes, I'm gonna take some of these things offline as I said before, but that was a great perspective. Um, Lynn, I'm gonna start back with you because you kind of went into this question already with your last answer. How can volunteering help with anxiety or depression?
So volunteer two ways. The first way is that it can be a protective factor. And a protective factor is something that protects us against mental health concerns, right? So it helps kind of be our shield. And so when we're very connected to our community, when we feel like our work is or our volunteering is purposeful, and that there are people depending on us, and that because we exist, we're having a positive in impact on others around us, that can help protect us from anxiety and depression. When we're already feeling anxious, so here's the second way. When we're already feeling anxious, being connected to our community can help ground us, right? To say, okay, I'm really stressed out. I'm really having a lot of anxiety. I'm really sad. And to be around other people that are having similar experiences can be very fulfilling and connecting. But also, if you feel like you have something to offer and give, that reminds you of why you're here. So, service to others is particularly helpful in people that experience suicidal ideation. It is a particularly helpful coping skill because you can see your positive impact on others. And when you feel like you're making a positive impact on others, it helps keep you here. So it's very important. I am a substance use counselor by trade before I worked at Partners, and service to others was also a big component of their treatment plans as well too. For the same reasons, like if you're engaging in behaviors that could take your life, you need to feel, and if you feel important to your community, maybe you'll have a little moment of hesitation before engaging in those behaviors. So it keeps you grounded, it keeps your perspective, it makes you feel wanted and needed, and it can be a really good protective factor as a coping skill to help get cut off anxiety and depression before it gets you.
Thank you. And to you, Dr. Tiffany Hall, the question was, you know, how can volunteering help with anxiety or depression?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Lynn, and all that she stated. We know that volunteering can help reduce anxiety and depression because it places people in community. It provides that social connection. It can help really shift a person's focus, from that overthinking and that worrying, that cycle that they may be going through. And we know that it can help increase those feel good hormones. Getting out, getting moving, can help increase that serotonin, get that dopamine going, and it, it can work in a way that it helps improve the person's self-esteem, the confidence in themselves. Through volunteering, people learn about their community. even when I go out and volunteer, I learn something new about my community that could help me. It can help people not feel stuck. And it can also kind of change their perspective a little bit. As Lynn said, if someone is having suicidal thoughts or self-harming thoughts, thinking, if they're in that area, getting out of the house, surrounding themselves around people, can be a great coping skill. It can put them in a place where they're motivated to reach out while helping others.
Agreed 1,000%. One thing I would say, and I'm kind of hearing that trend, is it's humbling too. A lot of I can say a lot. I can say I always go off of, you know, it could always be worse, right? And that's that part of me that's not really acknowledging, maybe, just trying to acknowledge where I'm at right now, but it's the reality. And it brings you back, and it allows you to become, grateful for where you're at, and understand that you can leave the space of where you're at. You don't have to stay there, because if I'm having a bad day because of X, Y, and Z, and then I'm in the community, um, bringing whatever I have going on, and I'm in the community and I see, they're not dealing with that. They're dealing with this, and they're still functioning. It provides me, for me, it's more of a humility concept. So I like the fact that, when you're going into the community, it's just we get something back too.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
and I,
go
I,
ahead.
I just want to add to that, I stated earlier that volunteering can help individuals increase their self confidence, their self esteem. And we know that when we feel good about ourselves, um, it, it, it can help us look at things differently. It can help, reduce that anxiety, bring that sense of calmness so that we can problem solve. We can recognize that we can do difficult things. And as you were stating, it can put us with community where we can recognize, like, oh, I'm not the only one that feels like that,
Absolutely.
feel like that. And they are doing this to help themselves. Maybe I should try that. I was here to
Absolutely.
do packages, but I see what they're doing. Maybe that'll help me. So volunteering can really work wonders for individuals.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Can I piggyback on that for a second? Because
Yes.
I think that's a really good point that Dr. Hall makes. It also helps increase resiliency, right? So if you see somebody on the worst day of their life, right? Or having like let's say you're volunteering with an individual who's unhoused, right? But you see that they're showing up and you see that they're, you know, just trying to do the best that they can and they're trying to keep a positive attitude. Suddenly your problems seem a little less unsurmountable, right? So you're like, this person is very resilient. Look at what they've been through because nobody really becomes unhoused because they've had an easy go of it, right? But you see this person who, despite all of this, is still putting one foot in front of the other. It can really be inspiring for our own resiliency as well.
1,000%, 1,000%. Um, I can go on for days about, what I see, and even in the position that we're in, you know, dealing with multiple different types of population, different people, different struggles, different whatever you want to talk, whatever you want to, fill in a blank. It's always good to have that space where I'm going back to your word you used earlier, grounded. We have to be grounded, and we have to, be aware of our surroundings and our community and what we have. I think this is one topic that it could be it could heal a lot more than people don't think of it in that aspect. Um, yes. So even with that being said, I'm going to use the gym as an example. You find the gym as a stress reliever. So you go to the gym every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. And I'm going to say that's why I don't go to the gym because I don't want to get burnt out. But we're going to talk about it in reference to volunteering. A stress reliever. That's a stress reliever. Volunteering, you can find it, and it's a way to make me happy. But you also can get burnt out because you can only use. You see what I did with that Lynn with the gym, like the burnt out thing. It's not me. Don't worry about it. But you can also become overwhelmed and burnt out by volunteering. Um, what are some triggers, I should say? Well, what are some signs of being burnt out? And what are some interventions or techniques that one can use to avoid being burnt out during volunteer?
I'll kick us off on this one. So I am the queen of overcommitting, right? So like that's why I was like kind of chuckling too. Like I'm the one where it'll be like 3 a.m. and I'll be like, making cookies for the class that's supposed to happen tomorrow. And I'm just like tears streaming down my face because I'm so tired, right? And I'm like, why am I making these cookies? So I'm so glad that you included this in here because when you start, we're going to talk about this later, but when you start getting those feel good endorphins from volunteering, it can make you feel like we're just going to commit to it all, right? The need is so great. I have time, I have privilege. I'm just going to commit to it all, right? But it helps no one when you do that because you can't, it's not sustainable, right? We need you guys, we need you to be able to be sustainable, and it takes away all the good things you get from volunteering because you're going to have anxiety and depression over this, right? So the what I would say is to set boundaries. Oh, the first question you asked is what are some signs? So some signs are um, that you start kind of getting that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you're about to have to go to a volunteer activity where you're like kind of dreading it a little bit, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you find that you're having compassion fatigue, whereas before you would have a lot of empathy and compassion, and you're finding that you have less of that now. Compassion fatigue is a real thing, guys, and it can be very debilitating. So you can find that you're not sleeping well, that you're grumpy, that your normal signs of stress. But what I will say is set boundaries and stick to it. And what I mean by stick to it is like, even if you're feeling particularly superwoman one day, like understand that the next day you may not feel the same way. So be careful what you're committing to, right? I would say make it manageable and start small. This is difficult. It's very difficult to stick to because the need is overwhelming to help people, right? And it's really our job to make sure that we set those boundaries. So if you say I'm going to do 2 hours of volunteering or service a week, stick to the 2 hours a week. Even if you don't have something planned and someone's like, hey, could you come help me do this? It is no, because you've got to protect your time and you don't need like no is a full sentence, right? You don't need to justify saying no. Our energy is a finite resource, and we need to make sure that it's there so that we can help our communities and our family and our friends for a long time. So I'm going to tell just a very short story that so I've made it a rule that I am no longer going to become the leader of a of a of a volunteer activity because I always like do, right? I'm always like, this is probably a personal problem, but I'm always like, this could be a little bit more organized, or this could be a little bit more this. I was like, maybe I'll help. Maybe I'll help be in the PTA. Maybe I'll be the one that organizes this, right? Or organizes that. Well, it can get real overwhelming real quick to be the organizer. And so I'm on a hiatus of being the organizer of everything. And my husband has to remind me. So accountability partners help. So I have to be like, oh, look, I just got this message and they're looking for like a treasurer for this club. And he's like, that's not you, or, oh, look, like they looking for someone to start a chapter of this. And he was like, good luck with that, but it's not you. So, helping me stick to my boundaries because if you have a heart to help people, it's always going to be there. But you will burn yourself out real quickly. And Dr. Hall, I've talked so much that I'm going to turn it over to you.
No, I was just going to say that the accountability partner is really, really good. Go ahead, Dr. Hall, but that was just, I didn't
Yeah,
think about that. That's good.
everything you were saying was, spot on, in regards to burnout. I totally agree with having an accountability partner. I always tell folks, no, know your capacity, because capacity does not equal capability. We can be capable of a lot, but not have the capacity to complete those things. Capacity wanes from day to day. You may be able to hold all of this today, last week, whenever, and that may be different on tomorrow. And that is okay. So recognizing what your capacity is at a certain time and being comfortable with saying no. Um, we can't do everything. So having those clear boundaries for ourselves is important. I was chuckling when you said accountability partners, because I have tons of those right now, just because I know what's happening in my life. I'm missing different things. So I'm very clear, like, hey, remember to send me a text, or hey, call me. It's not bothering me if you call me, because I know that with everything going on, I'm more than likely going to miss something. Um, Recognize when you're drained. We've all heard that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. But what we weren't taught is that what's in the cup is ours. What flows out of the cup, that overflow, is for everyone else. And if we are not filling that cup with rest, with happiness, with food, um, not just I said rest before, but I don't just mean sleep, because sometimes doing nothing is doing something. We need that to turn our brains off. But if we're not filling up that cup so that we can be our best self, whatever that is for us as individuals, then we can't show up in our community to be our best selves for our community.
I am still stuck on the fact that I feel like both of you ladies are reading my mind and you're like talking to me specifically. I don't know about the other guests and everything, but just the
There's no one else here, Seisha.
oh,
It's
it's just
just
us.
you. We're
I
just
forgot
talking
it's a
to
safe space. I forgot.
you.
Okay. But you just think about it. I never thought about having an accountability partner when it comes to volunteering, because it's an elective, it's something that I'm doing. But there is also a boundary that can be crossed, especially if the boundary is not, like, set in stone. And that accountability partner is very important to have. I'm not having all these like light bulbs going off, and I'm like, but this is volunteering, but it has an impact on your life. Oh, well, thank you guys. Let's just cancel this and let's go home for the rest of the year. See you guys January 1st. No, the 2nd. But on to that what my next question would be, as I kind of related or correlated, the gym and exercise. And we know that that's the go-to, right? If you want to feel better physically, mentally, you need to go to the gym. Well, what are some similarities? Are there any similarities by volunteering and doing actual like exercise? Are there any, is that the impact on the body? Is there a similarity with that?
Yes, there are similarities. For a lot of people, when you go to the gym, you work out, or you take a walk outside, whatever that may be for you, you kind of feel good. You may feel a release. Things may just feel lighter because those feel good endorphins are have been kicked off. You may be releasing stress. We hold stress in our bodies. And so that movement can help release that. When we are volunteering and we're moving around, we're connecting and talking to people, we can get some of those same feel good hormones going, that especially when we're volunteering in something that we like, that we're interested in, that can kick off those feel good hormones. And just being in community with people, someone saying hello, smiling, you know, if someone smiles at us, we're typically going to smile back, right? And smiling makes us feel good. Um, that casual conversation, all of those things can really mimic the same feelings we get from exercising. And for some people, exercising, after they've exercised for the day, it can help with sleep because they've moved, they exerted energy. So now, I'm tired. That whole process has gone on within your body, and you're able to rest well. And that rest, sleep, it impacts your mood. So the same thing applies for volunteering. We're out, we're moving, we're doing things, we're interacting, and that can impact our sleep. So that whole cycle takes place within our body. So to answer your question, yes, it can.
That was very well said. I wouldn't dare add to it, except I will say this. This is when they get you. This is when the accountability partner is important because you're feeling so good after it. And
Exactly.
you're like, I'm walking on air. Who else can I help? Right. And this is where you need somebody to be like, nobody else today. It's
Hmm.
time to go
Day,
home.
this week,
Yes. Yeah.
all of that. So I totally agree with
That is 100%. I can see myself like doing that. Oh well, I just did only three. There's only 3 hours here. I can go and do another one. But then it's like, wait a minute, you have to, not overexert yourself because everything that you just did that was healthy is going to be undone. And it kind of all goes back to those boundaries and how they're so important. Where you could put it on any subject in life, any subject, it's important to have those boundaries. So the points that you guys are making, I'm literally taking notes like you got to remember this when you're doing this, you got to remember this because it's very important. We touched on it a little bit in the beginning about some ways that you can be involved in your community, or volunteering. But what are, in addition to holding the door, the smiling thing I like a lot. Let me put a little plug in there. I'm not originally from the South, but when I moved down here, I was in Virginia first, and I remember people were like smiling at me, and I'm like, okay, but it actually, it made it feel like home, you know, and it made me feel like, oh, okay, they're smiling at me, they're holding that door for me. So it does go a long way. I just had that thought. But what are some practical ways that you can volunteer if we're thinking about keeping those boundaries in place and we're trying to mitigate burnout? What are some everyday ways that you can contribute to your community or volunteer without, again, keeping in mind with those boundaries and everything in place? What are some practical ways that you can volunteer in your community?
Sure. I think so you'd start with like deciding, your time commitment, talk to your family and especially like Stacia, we talked about wanting to involve our children in it too. So like understanding what their capacity is too. So like say, well, I can give this much time. I think matching is really important. And I think this helps with burnout too. Like if pick things that you enjoy doing, right? So like if you burn toast, don't pick an activity where you're cooking meals for other people, right? Like or because it's going to be very stressful. So
Yes.
you're self-identifying as a toast burner. Yeah. So I really enjoy cooking. And so one of the accessible things that I found is I live in Charlotte, the Ronald McDonald House, you can cook meals for them. And then you just cook it and then you drop it off and you're like, peace out, right? So and my daughter helps me cook the meal. So this is something that's very not time that's something I like doing. It fits in with my schedule. It meets my goal of incorporating my family with it. So it's a family value that we have. That's very different than saying I'm going to take a whole day and go um, work in a shelter, right? So like we're going to talk about overcoming social anxiety. So I don't mean to jump ahead, but so it's like where is your energy level right now? So is my energy level at a place where I can cook a meal, or is my energy level at a place where I can go interact with 100 people? So I think when it talks about your everyday life, I think finding opportunities that match your interests and understanding the time and energy commitment that you can give. And it's going to change week to week, right? What your time and energy commitment is.
So to add to that, again, as Lynn said, looking at where you um, choose to volunteer, what opportunities are out there in the community, and then also what you might like to do. So when you're working with organized groups, whether it's Samaritan Ministry, Second Harvest, a church, or something like that, you're going to know what your time commitment is. And so you can schedule that. Definitely include the kids. That can teach them how to give back to their community, and also help those that are in need. There are also ways that you can informally volunteer. So I know you had asked about like in your everyday life. Think about, I don't know if any of you all go to the Y, but there's at the YMCA I frequent, there's a puzzle table and there's books out. And so there's always someone sitting at that table, maybe by themselves or talking with a group, especially if you go during the day. There's a lot of folks from that are older in our community that gather to have that companionship. You can take time to sit down with them and have a conversation or be on the other side of um, the board, and play that game with them. And then when you're done, you can clean that area up and put it up for the next person. That is also a form of volunteering that isn't formal. And so things like that can help our community and can help the individuals who, might want to take part in volunteering.
Um, all of that is, it's like you have to really keep everything into perspective. And I love what you both said about, it's also where you're at and what you can do. And the YMCA, I don't care which one, what Y you go to, you're going to see someone at that table with chess or with puzzle pieces. So that's an easy plug. If you're feeling up to it, you can go ahead and play. Go there. That will make someone stay, because you never know, them being at home or where they are at, someone may not be there to play with them. So that's easy and it's thoughtful. I think that is that's a little plug to keep in my mind, anytime where I'm at, not just when I'm at the Y. And I want to remind our audience and our guests that our Q&A is open, because we're kind of coming up on our last question, and then we're going to open the floor to your questions. So make sure you drop them into the Q&A portion down below with the in Zoom. One of the last questions I have, and kind of touched on it a little bit, and I come from a place where in my mind I always kind of relate things to COVID. That was the biggest thing. So I remember we were not able to kind of go anywhere, and then the first time I went to a concert or I went to a activity, it was like, this what social anxiety feels like. I'm a social butterfly. What do you mean anxiety? I love being in this atmosphere, in this place, but it's a real thing. And if you're not used to volunteering and you want to, there is some type of anxiety that one could come upon, and realize that they have, especially social anxiety. So how what ideas or advice that you would give someone on how to overcome that social anxiety, by or any form of anxiety, but specifically social, when being in an environment of the unknown, because you don't know what's going to happen, because this is a community. It's not um, a space where you can control the environment.
I can jump in. So start small. Going back to what I said earlier about capacity and capability, um, recognizing where you are and what you have the capacity for at that time. Starting small can be helpful, especially if you're a person that may have an issue with crowds or whatever it may be for you. if you can start small, it's kind of like, you know, sticking your big toe in the pool, how we do the test the temperature. Like, is this something that, I can do? Is this for me? So start small and then work your way up. You might want to consider doing things that, so we're having a community walk and you want to help with that. That walk may not go on every week or every month. It may be a one-time thing, and you can help with set up the day before, maybe not day of, that type of thing. And if you like it, then you can sign up next year and say, I want to do the day of type thing. Be honest with the volunteer coordinator. Um, don't assume that you stating what you are willing to do or able to do is going to create problems. I coordinate a lot of volunteer stuff. Tell me what you can do. Tell me. And so I can put you there, and that's one thing that I'm checking off my list. Um, so really evaluating where you are, and it's okay if you start something and recognize like, hey, this isn't for me, lots of people, lots of noise, letting someone know, and then they can assist you if they're able. And then, again, like I said, finding something that's interesting to you. Bringing support with you. Having a friend come along. Hey, I want to try this. I'm not really sure if this is for me. I don't really do crowds or people I don't know. Would you be willing to accompany me to this? That'll help me feel less anxious. So again, recognizing where you are and what you need, and building from there.
So I actually wrote in my paper, start small and bring a buddy. So I 100% agree with you, Dr. Hall. Very wise words. I want to be aware that I think I've um, myself have suggested a lot of things that require you to be able to have transportation to get out of your house, some level of ableism. And I want to make sure that I'm giving a message that anybody can be of service to others. If you're disabled, you can be of service to others. If you don't have a car, you can be of service to others. Like there are ways that you can um, make somebody's life better within the confines that you're dealing with. So, and part of that is you can have incredible social anxiety and be of service to others, right? So some less overwhelming activities, maybe an angel tree. It may be a Meals on Wheels is great. Just you in your car, you can listen to some music or bring your kid. It there are ways to help other people when they don't even know that you're helping them, right? So if you're one that just finds it very uncomfortable to like receive a lot of, oh, thank you so much, I couldn't have done this, but if that makes you very uncomfortable, you can do it anonymously, right? So I just want to make sure that when we talked about matching, we talked about your interests, we talked about your time boundaries, um and there's a lot of need out there and there's room for you if you want to help fill it, for sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad you stated that, because you are so accurate. There are things that you can do from your home that can help others. Checking in with the nursing homes. They love for people to send cards at Christmas time and other holidays. You can do that from your home. So some organizations will even send you the material, and then you just have to send them back. So really, looking for things that will fit where you are and what your ability is. Thank you, Lynn.
I love I feel like everything we were saying kind of just was able to draw the line and the connection to it. All of that matching and not having to go. When you think about it, you might not want to go uh, to a shelter or to a food bank. You might want to start smaller, and it doesn't matter how big or small the opportunity is there. Someone needs the help. Someone would love the help. And and we can benefit from it as well. And I think that that's one of the biggest things about volunteering, that we are part of said community that we are volunteering in. I don't care if it's in a different neighborhood, if it's a different, city, whatever you're doing is still part of the community because everyone touches everyone at some point. And that smile that you gave, that you said to give earlier, that could be passed on. And that smile can reach all the way to Alabama. I don't know. I just threw out Alabama because it just had an A and it was like, A, Alabama. Whatever, guys. But honestly, you just never know how far your impact can go. And that's what makes this very important and it's life altering.
Can I add one other thing, Tasha,
Absolutely.
to that? Our mind is such a powerful tool. How we speak to ourselves, like that interpersonal communication that we have, is so important. And when we are about to encounter something that we perceive as stressful or we're not sure how we're going to perform, we start thinking about the what if. What if this happens? What if that happens? Am I going to be able to do that? And that can make us more anxious. That can make us, decide not to even reach out. What people can do is visualize the success. Visualize the I'm going to go in here and I'm going to be the person that hands out the pens and I'm going to make sure everybody has the pen. And however that is, like how we talk to ourselves before we start something is super important. And we tend to go toward the negative, the what ifs. I need to be prepared. And we can really visualize that success of doing good. And that is so powerful in helping decrease that anxiety. So I wanted to, just add that before we went over to the Q&A.
I appreciate that. And thank you, ladies, for all the insight and the feedback and the tools that you have given us. I greatly appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get ready for our Q&A portion. We got a couple questions and comments in the chat, I believe. So, oh, hey, Beth. There you go.
Okay, we do. We have the first question is I was always actively volunteering, but life happened and I was not in a good place for a while. Sometimes I feel guilty for not going or doing more because I'm stretched thin. What are some ways that I can get back out and volunteer? And should I feel guilty?
Never feel guilty about taking care of yourself. Never feel guilty. I go back to what I said earlier. The cup is for you. What's in it is for you. What flows out of that is for everyone else. And there are times that our cup is just not full. And that's okay. So making sure you take care of yourself is super, super important. So please don't feel guilty. How how you get back into volunteering? I would say assess your time and your ability, what you're able to do. And as Lynn and I both stated before, starting small. Um, Stick your toe out there, whatever that may be for you. And start small so you can see if you're at a place that you can handle whatever it is that you want to give back to the community. But never feel guilty about taking care of yourself.
Nothing more for me. I'll just say ditto.
Perfect. The next question is oftentimes we choose to volunteer in capacities that mean a lot to us. What are some signs that you are volunteering might be hitting too close to home?
What a good question. What a good question. Okay. Wow. I think some signs are that it's not fun anymore, that you're finding yourself um, so sometimes we work harder than the people that we're working with, you know? So if you find yourself maybe worrying about others or a particular person so much, you're losing sleep over it, you're thinking about them, it's consuming your life, right? So here, so an example would be if you have if you have experienced a family member with addiction, right? Substance use. And so this is something that's near and dear to your heart. So you're like, I want to work with families that have experienced this too, right? Well, this could be very upsetting if depending on where you are in your healing journey from this experience, right? And it could hit very close to home and you could find yourself violating your own boundaries with time, with energy. You can find yourself having a difficult time saying no, especially to things that you wouldn't usually say no to. So like if you usually wouldn't give somebody money, but you find yourself like, oh, well, I can make an exception in this case, or I can do this. So just really in the beginning where you said I want to volunteer, so you set out your time boundaries and your energy boundaries, and you find that you're just like walking right through those. That's a really good um sign that you've lost a little bit of your objectivity. And also if your mental health is suffering from it too. It's always a good place to check in.
I so agree with that. Recognize if you're being activated. How much self-care, how much of your coping skills, I would say, are you having to use after that volunteering event or even during that volunteer event? I do a lot of work with suicide loss survivors. I myself am a suicide loss survivor. And what I tell people who want to come volunteer is that have you worked through your own grief? I want you here because your story, the person you lost to suicide matters. But if you're volunteering, I want you here in a capacity that we're helping the people that aren't volunteering. So if you're being activated by what's being discussed in the room, as Lynn said, taking care of your own mental health, then that may be a sign that you need to take a couple of steps back. It's okay to take time off from volunteering to take care of yourself and then jumping back in the game. We want to make sure that people are giving their best to the community, but also being their best and recognizing what that is. And if you need to step away so that you can do that self care, that work, whatever it may be, that's okay. We'll be here when you get back.
I can talk about this all day. Oh, go ahead, Lynn. I know it. I saw it in your head. I saw that
I
finger.
have one
Go
more
ahead.
thought.
No,
It's a little bit related, but like tell people what your boundaries are, similar to what Dr. Hall said. Like tell them they cannot read your mind. So an example is that my daughter has a friend whose person that transport her to school had knee surgery, right? So we've been doing the transportation for them. It's not a big deal, but it's like a bleeding over into other things. Can you do this? Can you do that? And I was talking to my husband and I was like, I just feel like they're taking advantage. And he was like, every time they ask you, you say sure with like an exclamation point. Like, do they know that you've reached a limit? Like, because it doesn't look, I'm making my husband sound so mean, but he's not. He's my accountability partner. But so it's like they don't know, like you don't look like somebody who's reaching your limit. You look like somebody, like it's no harm in asking, but you need to tell them. You need to tell them. And I thought that was something that was worth mentioning here too, is that people aren't going to read your mind. You need to tell them.
that's, I think that was the best way to actually close this portion out because people are not going to read your mind. They're only going to go off of what they see. So you have to use that. You have to use your own, techniques in order to, which is verbalizing, letting them know what you can, what you cannot do, because they will pour it on you. And then it will not become an act to the community. It will be a disservice to yourself. So I agree with that. Um, I can, I enjoyed this, ladies. I felt like we were all in a kitchen together just talking while Lynn was making some cookies because I know that's what she does.
We
And
did
I want to thank you.
we
Go
did
ahead,
have one
Beth.
more question that
Oh,
just
oh, I'm
popped up.
sorry.
We did have a hand raised, and he or she or they um put their hand down but asked the question, been struggling with having transportation to and from community services as well as events due to being on a fixed income and others not being able to assist with, which affects my wellness. What and how may I navigate this resourcefully?
I have a hard stop at 2, so Dr. Hall, may I please leave this in your trusting hands? And thank you guys for letting me be a part of this. I have to jump to another call. I'm sorry.
I
Thank you,
appreciate you.
Lynn.
Thank you.
Beth, did they note that they had communicated the transportation issues? Was that noted in their question?
Yes, let me read it one more time.
Okay.
Been struggling with having transportation to and from community services as well as events due to being on fixed income and others not being able to assist, which affects my wellness. What and how may I navigate this resourcefully?
What I would suggest is that as you see community events, um, posted or the need for volunteers, definitely do what you're doing about asking is transportation available? Like, hey, I'm here, but I want to help, but there is a transportation barrier. Now, that's not going to work all the time because there may not be someone in the area to um, come get you, but there may be something that you can do from your home that could assist the organization with with whatever event that they're having. So the volunteer option may still be there. I know as a coordinator of community activities, that's something that we do talk about is transportation barriers, not just for the participants, but also for the people that are volunteering. So, stating that to the organizers may help them think about, how to address that in the future. I don't have a sure fix for you, and I'm sorry about that. Um, but continuing to look for activities in the community that you can participate in, from where you are can be helpful. And we'll keep that in mind, the folks at Partners and everyone else that's on the call. That's something for us to take back as well.
I want to thank you for that response. And I'm sorry, guys, we're over time, and I can talk like this forever. My peers and coworkers know that. And we're going to go. I said earlier that we have a survey that we would like you to complete if you're able to. Take a picture really quick. Um, just grab your phone, scan that QR code, and we also will send it out with the when we send out the slides and everything. So you would get a copy of this as well. But just let us know if there's anything that you want to hear about specifically, or how do we do? Did I talk too much? Don't say that. Just email me. You don't have to do that, but just let us know what we want to make sure we're meeting your needs. Dr. Tiffany Hall, you were amazing. Lynn Gray was amazing. Our participants were amazing. These emojis are amazing. I want to close us out and tell you all to have a safe holiday, break, time off, whatever you're going to do, but make sure that you're doing some self care and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I want to thank you for attending, participating this entire year, whatever you want me to say. I'm grateful for you all. And so we will not be having Member Cafe next month, but we're going to see you at the top of the year. So you be safe and enjoy. Thank you.